How's it going, YouTube? I'm going to talk about something that's, close to me and near and dear to my heart. The purple-headed yogurt spitter, Pedro, little mini-me, Hercules, whatever you want to call it, all about the D. Because there's clearly some misconceptions going around and some misinformation. If I get anything wrong myself, I'm not always right, so you can fill me in, or if I miss anything important. But where do we start? I guess we start in the beginning, around time when we're young, circumcision. Now, so I haven't heard any guys complain about it, but I have heard or came across one woman that was complaining about wanting to stop circumcision. She was comparing it to genital mutilation. So not the same thing. Okay, for genital mutilation, what they call female circumcision, you'd have to cut the head off. All right, completely different scenario. Now, whether or not you want to go circumcised or uncircumcised, that's personal preference. Usually left up to the parents. No one really worries about it once they get older. As some have. Now, there are some statistics that point to being circumcised is a little more on the healthier side because it cuts back on STDs. I wouldn't put it significantly enough to make a complete decision on the matter. Like I said, it's personal preference. Because there's also a downside. There have been botched circumcisions. There's a story you can check out. Probably don't want to. It's kind of a sad story. It's called the Dr. Money and the Boy Without a Penis. It's where some of the trans stuff started coming about at. I don't want to go into full detail on that, but I will say on a side note, when it comes to some of the trans stuff, well, some of y'all please stop trying to push that on people, because I had somebody I was debating on it try to push it, and she didn't understand that if they go through the surgery, they cut the penis off. All right. That's all I'm going to say about that. Freaking hashtag save the penis. All right. But let's move on. All right. So the thing pretty much is useless. Don't really do much until you hit around puberty. Around puberty, then it can become embarrassing. What I mean by that is the slightest wind blow, and for whatever reason it goes whoop. Not cool. I remember being in school more than a few times thinking, dear God, don't call me right now because there's no way I'm going to be able to hide this. It is what it is. I mean, but once it starts going off, that at least it's working fine. But that is something that can be quite embarrassing for guys because we can't hide our lust like females can. But anyways, I digress. Let's say you get a little older, you finally get lucky. There's also more than a few misconceptions on this as well. For one, some of you guys watch way too much porn. And women ain't built like that. And what I mean by that is freaking, some women just ain't built for some guys. And there's a lot of guys that think, oh, porn, freaking, they're going to go all the way. Here's a news flash. A lot of women do not enjoy being thunder punched in the uterus. It's just a fact. Don't get me wrong, there are some. But, everybody's got their own little cup of tea. I'm just, in the general average, freaking, don't be hitting women in the uterus. With your, And also, they try, besides going all that deep, what was it? I think the numbers are like 70% of women come by the clitoris, and only like 30% actually get off from the G spot. I can go into other videos about all that later for you. When it comes to size, there are medical cases where you may want to check into a doctor if you feel like you should be bigger or something ain't going right. Because if your pituitary gland ain't pumping out the right hormones, you ain't going to get the right size. It ain't going to function. It ain't your fault. It's health issues, and sometimes they just occur. I've heard of multiple different cases. But when it comes to the size thing, it's overwhelmingly a guy thing. What I mean by that, women ain't so obsessed with it as guys are. It's like they did a thing on Mythbusters. Same thing with boobs. Guys like boobs. Girls like boobs more. They did a test where they were seeing who would tip more for bigger boobs. It was the women that was tipping more to the women who had bigger boobs. Well, it's almost like the same thing with guys. Freaking guys have more a D envy than women do. So don't deform your junk. And I've heard some cases where guys talking about he's got the biggest in the world. Turns out, no. He actually had foreskin he stretched out. It was disgusting. Let's not even go there. Now, I've heard of other people that are pulling on it. You pull on it like that, it's gonna make it like a limp noodle. Freaking maybe have some size, but you pretty much, yeah. Oh, even though we call it a boner, there's no bones in it. Okay, it absolutely has no bones. You can break your boner. All right. If you break your penis, you're gonna have a bad day. I'm not kidding. I've had a few close calls where some overzealous woman freaking, yeah, just hold your roll there, freaking, because if you break it, it's going to be a bad day, and you are going to need to go to the emergency room to get it fixed. Because once you pop it, let's see. But look, we digress. Don't break your penis. Freaking, don't throw to punch a woman in the uterus. And as you get older, ED. Scientists have discovered a good bit of ED comes from a woman nagging too much. That's a joke. Alright, but it does play a role. Stress, hormones, blah, 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 etc. If you feel like you are getting, having a little trouble, you can get some nitrous oxide boosters. Most bodybuilding supplements, freaking L-arginine. I think I'm saying that right. It's one of the amino acids. You can look it up yourself. It's nitrous oxide booster. Should be pull up in no time. You can get one of those, freaking, and it helps to dilate the blood vessels and overall health. If you're past 50, I'd probably just recommend it for your general cardiovascular health. Also, one thing that's really fun is cock rings, or dick rings, or whatever you want to, penis rings. They actually light enough pressure to keep blood from going back, but holds it in there so you can go longer, kind of thing. Also, whenever I usually get down the sack, freaking, I turn it like an ice box because, and actually I'll go into some other details about that some other time, but what it is once you start heating up, the blood starts pulling away from other parts to cool your whole body down. So if you start getting hot, you're going to have a harder time. But it is what it is. So if it happens, it happens. It's one of those guy things. Some women feel more about it because they think it's them. It has nothing to do with them. It could be stress at work or whatever. Most times it's nothing to worry about. If it's something where you feel like you need to go to a doctor and get Viagra or whatever, you may want to check some, because there's probably some other underlying health issues or psychological issues you may want to check in. See, I think that's about covers a lot. There's a few other things, but I imagine I'll have some other fans. But if I left out anything important, anything you think I should have said, please, comment, rate, subscribe. If you like this video, I do plan on getting Patreon and PayPal if you want to help out with the channel. If you enjoyed the commentary. Oh, remember, trying to rack that thing up, use a rubber. I mean, I ain't no player, but just in general, it's safe practice. And some of them, we've got some pretty boss condoms nowadays, like from Ultra Bear Rib, and the list goes on. Hope y'all enjoyed this, YouTube. Y'all take it easy. Y'all play safe now.